I didn't think. I just moved. 1 second, the little girl was laughing, spinning with her balloon in the city square. The next, the crack of a gunshot split the night. People screamed, scattering like birds. My instincts kicked in before my brain caught up. "Get down!" I shouted, throwing myself forward. My body collided with hers, small and fragile under my arms. And then, white-hot fire exploded in my side. The bullet. My knees buckled, but I locked my arms tighter around her. My little girl, Lily, wasn't here tonight, but in that instant, this child might as well have been mine. I'd rather bleed out than let the gunman reach her. The world blurred. Sirens wailed in the distance. My breath came shallow, ragged, each inhale burning. "Daddy?" The little girl sobbed. Not my daughter. Someone else's. Her voice cracked as tiny hands clutched my shirt. "Don't die. Please." Darkness threatened to swallow me whole, but then I saw her. Heels clicking across the pavement, eyes wide with terror. A woman too polished for this chaos, face pale under the streetlights. She gathered the girl into her arms, trembling but composed. The child's mother. I should have felt relief. But all I saw in the woman's gaze was suspicion, like she couldn't decide if I was her savior or her enemy. Blood filled my mouth. My vision flickered. The weight of the child's balloon string was still tangled in my hand. And before the sirens reached us, before I could speak, before I could even tell her my name, I blacked out.
Welcome, loves, to Billionaire Soulful Stories. Tonight's tale is Single Dad Took a Bullet to Protect the Female CEO's Daughter Unknowingly. What happened next changed everything. Tell me in the comments, what would you do if a stranger risked their life for your child? Let's dive in.
Chapter 1. The Bullet That Changed Everything. The first thing I heard when I woke up was the steady beeping of a heart monitor. The second thing was a child's laugh. For a moment, I thought it was Lily. My Lily, waiting by my bedside, her hair wild and her eyes full of hope. But when I blinked through the haze, it wasn't her. It was the little girl I had thrown myself over in the city square. She sat in the corner of the hospital room, holding a stuffed bunny too big for her tiny arms. Her eyes lit up when she saw me stir. "You didn't die." I tried to laugh, but it came out as a groan. My side throbbed like someone had lit a fire under my ribs. Guess not. Before I could ask her name, the door opened. She walked in. The woman from the square, the one with ice in her veins and diamonds in her gaze. Perfectly pressed suit, hair in an immaculate chignon, heels clicking against the sterile hospital floor like they owned the place. She was every bit the commanding presence I'd seen in the flashes of news screens, but up close, her beauty was sharp, almost too sharp to look at for long. "Emma," she said softly, kneeling by the child. Her voice shifted when she looked at me, cool and precise. "You're awake." "Barely," I muttered. My throat was raw, but I pushed the words out. "She's okay. That's what matters." Celine Ward. That name hit me like another bullet. Billionaire CEO, the untouchable ice queen of Ward Technologies. I'd read about her in the papers while waiting for Lily at school, but I'd never imagined I'd be bleeding on her account. "You threw yourself in front of her," she said. Not gratitude. More like a fact she didn't know what to do with. "I did what anyone would do." "No." Her eyes narrowed. "Not anyone. People ran. You didn't." The room grew tight with silence. Emma reached for her mother's hand, tugging gently. "He saved me, Mommy. Don't be mad at him." Her words hit harder than the bullet. Mad? Was that what this was? Suspicion? Not thanks? Celine rose, smoothing invisible wrinkles from her blazer. "Mr. Cole," I said. "Ethan Cole." She repeated my name like she was weighing it, deciding if it was trustworthy. Then, just as quickly, her expression shuddered again. "Mr. Cole, I don't believe in accidents. That bullet was meant for someone. My daughter just happened to be in its path." I shifted, pain flaring down my ribs. "And you think I had something to do with it?" Her stare was brutal. I don't know what to think, but I do know this. Whoever wants me destroyed won't stop at me. They'll go after Emma again. Her words hung heavy in the air. My gaze slid to the little girl clutching her bunny. My chest tightened. I thought of Lily, what I'd give to keep her safe, to shield her from every danger this world had waiting. Celine's voice sliced through my thoughts. You risked your life once. Do it again. For her. I blinked. Excuse me? She crossed her arms, her power filling the room like smoke. Be Emma's bodyguard full-time. My security team is compromised. I need someone loyal, someone with nothing to gain. I let out a bitter laugh, wincing from the stab of pain it caused. Lady, I'm a delivery driver. I barely make rent. I've got a 6-year-old at home who needs me. You've got the wrong guy. Her eyes softened for the first time. Not much, just a flicker, but it was enough to unsteady me. Maybe you're the only right one. I stared at her, at Emma clutching that bunny, at the bandages wrapped tight around my side. My whole life had been simple. Keep Lily safe, keep our heads above water, survive one day at a time. But this woman's world? It was chaos wrapped in diamonds, and somehow she was dragging me into it. Think about it, she said coolly, turning toward the door. You owe me nothing, but you saved my daughter. That makes you the only man I can trust. The door closed behind her. Silence fell again except for Emma's quiet voice. Please don't say no, she whispered. You make the bad dreams go away. My throat clenched, and for the first time since the bullet tore through me, I realized I was standing at the edge of a choice that could change everything. Chapter 2. The Ice Queen's World. The black car waiting outside my apartment looked like it belonged in another universe. Its polished surface reflected the cracked pavement and rusted fire escapes of my world like a cruel joke. Daddy, are we rich now? Lily asked, clutching her faded pink backpack. I gave her a crooked smile, adjusting her little jacket. Not even close, Bug. We're just visiting another planet for a while. The driver held the door open, eyes forward, silent as stone. Lily climbed in first, bouncing on the leather seat like it was a trampoline. I followed, my side aching where the bandages rubbed against my ribs. Ward Tower was a monster of glass and steel, 50 floors of cold brilliance that scraped the sky. As we pulled up, I felt Lily's hand slip into mine, her small fingers squeezing. Don't let go, Daddy. Never, I whispered, even though my stomach twisted. Inside, the marble lobby glowed white and sterile. Security guards flanked the elevators, their gazes sharp and suspicious. We rode to the top floor in silence, the numbers blinking upward like a countdown. When the doors slid open, Celine Ward was already waiting. She wore navy silk today, every inch of her screaming control. Her arms were crossed, but her eyes flickered, just for a second, when they landed on Lily. This is your daughter? She asked. Yeah. My hand brushed Lily's hair. This is Lily. Lily, bold as ever, stepped forward and offered her hand like she was at a tea party. Nice to meet you, ma'am. Something cracked in Celine's polished mask. She crouched slightly, accepting the tiny handshake. Nice to meet you too, Lily. Emma appeared then, peeking shyly from behind her mother's skirt. The moment her eyes lit on Lily, her shyness melted. You're the man who saved me's daughter? Lily nodded proudly. Yep, my daddy's a hero. Emma giggled, pulling Lily by the hand. Come on, I'll show you my room. The two disappeared down the hall in a flurry of giggles and whispers. For a moment, silence settled between Celine and me, thicker than the walls around us. You've got a good kid, she said finally, voice quieter than I'd expected. Best thing I've ever done, I answered. Her gaze hardened again, the softness gone as fast as it came. I'll be clear, Mr. Cole. You're here because I need someone I can trust. I don't do charity. This arrangement isn't about gratitude. It's about survival. I leaned against the edge of her desk, ignoring the burn in my ribs. Funny. You sound like you're trying to convince yourself. Her eyes narrowed, sharp enough to cut. Watch your tone. But I didn't back down. Watch your walls. They're so high your daughter's living in their shadow. The air turned electric. Her lips parted as if she wanted to fire back, but the sound of little feet pounding down the hallway broke the moment. Emma burst in, tugging Lily behind her. "Mommy, can Lily stay here tonight? Please, please." Selena froze, caught off guard. Her boardroom mask faltered again, just for a breath, before she smoothed it back into place. "That's not..." And then, a phone buzzed on her desk. She answered quickly, her voice clipped. But as I listened, my gut tightened. "Secure the files," she hissed into the receiver. "No, I don't care what it takes. That shooter wasn't random. This was a message." Her eyes flicked to me as she hung up, suspicion and fear warring in their depths. Emma tugged her hand again. "Please, Mommy, just one night." Celine looked down at her daughter, then at Lily, then finally at me. For the first time since I met her, her certainty cracked. And in that charged silence I realized this wasn't just a job anymore, it was a war. And stepping into Celine Ward's world meant dragging Lily right into the battlefield with me. Chapter 3. Fire Under Pressure. Celine's penthouse felt like a glass castle hanging in the sky. At night, the city glowed below us like a living thing, restless and unforgiving. I'd never been in a place so polished, so cold. It made me itch for the smell of motor oil and the clutter of Lily's crayons on our kitchen table. But I wasn't here for comfort. I was here because of danger. And the longer I stayed, the more I realized the danger wasn't just outside these walls. It was Celine herself. We worked side by side now, her world brushing against mine in jagged, uncomfortable ways. I walked her daughter to school, rode the elevators with men in suits whispering about stock prices, stood silent in boardrooms while she destroyed competitors with words sharp as blades. Every time our eyes met, sparks flew, not the sweet kind, the dangerous kind. One night, the storm came. Thunder rolled outside, the sky flashing white against the glass. The girls were asleep. Lily sprawled across Emma's pink duvet. Emma curled into her like they'd been sisters all their lives. I checked the locks, adjusted the security cameras, tried to quiet the gnawing in my gut. Then I heard her voice. "Ethan." I turned. Celine stood at the balcony doors, the city lights painting her in gold and shadow. Her silk blouse clung to her frame, her hair loose for once, tumbling down her shoulders. She looked less like the Ice Queen and more like a woman caught in her own storm. "You're restless," I said quietly. Her lips curved, not quite a smile. "You read me too easily. Someone has to." She crossed her arms, leaning against the glass. "You think I'm cold, distant. You've made that clear." I stepped closer, my heart kicking harder than it should. "I think you're scared, and you cover fear with ice." Her chin lifted, defiant. "Fear makes people weak." "No." I shook my head. "Fear makes people human." The words hung between us, heavy and raw. She looked away, eyes glistening, the mask slipping just enough for me to see the woman beneath. And then, shattering glass. I spun, instincts screaming, as the balcony door cracked under a thrown object. A brick. A note tied around it. My pulse thundered as I ripped it free. 4 words scrawled in red ink. "You can't hide." Celine's breath hitched. I grabbed her wrist, pulling her back from the window just as lightning split the sky. Her pulse throbbed against my fingers, fast and frantic. "Stay back," I ordered. But she didn't move. Her eyes locked on mine, wide, vulnerable, burning with something I couldn't ignore. "Ethan," she whispered. I didn't know if it was the storm, the adrenaline, or the way her voice cracked on my name, but I pulled her closer. Her body pressed against mine, her perfume mixing with the scent of rain and fear. And before I could stop myself, my lips crashed against hers. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't careful. It was fire meeting fire, anger melting into need. She clutched my shirt, pulling me deeper, as if the kiss itself was the only anchor in the chaos. When we broke apart, breathless, her forehead rested against mine. "This can't happen," she whispered. "Too late," I murmured, my hand still on her waist. The storm raged around us, glass rattling, thunder booming, and I knew in that moment, whether she wanted it or not, we were already burning. But then her phone buzzed on the desk. She tore away, snatching it up, her face draining of color. Her eyes met mine, horror spilling into them. "It's not just me they're after anymore. They know about you." The air left my lungs like another bullet. Because if they knew about me, they knew about Lily. Chapter 4. Betrayal in the Shadows. I didn't sleep that night, not after the note, not after that kiss, not after Celine's warning that they knew about me. The city outside never rested, its hum creeping into the penthouse like a second heartbeat. I sat in the dark living room watching the girls sleep through the baby monitor, while Celine paced behind glass walls like a caged panther. The more time I spent here, the more I realized her world wasn't as untouchable as it looked. It was glass, and someone was already throwing stones. By morning, we had a plan. I would double security on Emma, move Lily into the penthouse permanently, and shadow Celine everywhere she went. She didn't fight me this time. She just nodded, her jaw tight, her eyes carrying a fear she didn't voice. But danger has a way of slipping past walls. 2 days later, it struck. We were in the middle of a board meeting. Me in the corner, Celine at the head of the glass table, her executives lined like soldiers. She was ice, fire, and steel all at once, cutting through financial reports with precision. Then the doors burst open. A messenger rushed in, pale, stammering. "Ms. Ward, it's urgent." The envelope he handed her was thick, black, sealed with wax. Old-fashioned. Wrong. Celine slid it open and froze. I caught the flicker in her eyes, pure terror before she masked it. She shoved the papers into her bag, dismissed the room, and walked out. But I was faster. I snatched the envelope before she could stop me. Inside were photos, dozens of them. Lily walking home from school, Emma playing in the park, me carrying groceries, and then the last photo, Celine kissing me on the balcony, taken from a distance, a shadow behind a lens. I felt the floor tilt beneath me. Her voice was low, sharp. "Give those back." I stared at her. "Someone is watching us. This isn't just business, Celine. This is personal." Her mask cracked. "You don't understand." "Then explain." My voice was rough, louder than I meant. "Tell me why you're really being hunted. Tell me who's behind this before they hurt our kids." Her eyes burned with anguish. For a moment, I thought she'd finally open up, but then she shut down, the wall slamming back into place. "Drop it, Ethan. Just do your job." I stepped closer, anger sparking through me. "Your job is keeping secrets. Mine is keeping you alive. But I can't protect you if I don't know what I'm fighting." The silence between us was a battlefield. Finally, her voice broke. Just a whisper. "It's someone close. Someone I should have been able to trust." Before I could press her, Emma's scream shattered the air. We bolted out, hearts in our throats, only to find her trembling by the bedroom door. Lily clutched her hand wide-eyed. The window was cracked open, a breeze cutting through the room. On Emma's pillow lay another note in the same jagged handwriting. "One of you will bleed next." Celine pulled Emma into her arms, her hands shaking. I swept the room, every nerve on fire. But whoever had been here was already gone. That night, while the girls finally drifted into uneasy sleep, I found Celine on the balcony, staring at the city with a glass of wine shaking in her hand. She didn't hear me approach. "I can't do this anymore," she whispered, more to herself than to me. "I built my empire to keep us safe. I burned every bridge, and still, they found us." I stepped beside her. "Who, Celine?" Her lips parted, but before she could answer, her phone buzzed again. She glanced down and the blood drained from her face. "Show me," I said. She hesitated, then turned the screen toward me. It was a live video feed, grainy, shaky, but clear enough to see. Lily, my daughter, alone, in the street. Chapter 5. Love's Last Stand. The video replayed in my head like a nightmare I couldn't wake from. Lily, alone. A stranger's shadow creeped closer before the screen cut to black. My heart hammered so hard it hurt. "Where is she?" I barked, my voice raw, my chest burning. Celine's face was pale but steady. The feed came from a warehouse my company once owned. Abandoned now. Dockside. Whoever's behind this wants me there. "They want me," I growled, fists clenched. "They used her to draw me in." "No," she snapped, stepping close. "They used her to draw us in. Don't you see? This isn't about you, it's about me, and the person pulling the strings is someone who's been at my table all along." Her words cut like ice. "Who?" Her eyes glistened. "Marcus." I knew the name. Her right-hand man, the COO. The man I'd seen in meetings, calm and smiling. As if butter wouldn't melt in his mouth. Rage coiled inside me. Then he's a dead man. We didn't waste time. I strapped a gun to my hip, tucked a knife into my boot. Celine insisted on coming, her eyes fierce, no longer the Ice Queen, but a mother ready to burn down the world for her child. The docks were quiet, the night heavy with fog. Shadows stretched long across broken pavement. We moved together, silent, every nerve lit like wire. Then I heard it. Lily's cry. It tore through me like another bullet. I sprinted, Celine close behind, until we burst into the warehouse. There she was, my daughter, tied to a chair, eyes wide with fear. Emma, too, beside her, trembling, whispering words of comfort even in her own terror. My brave little girl, and standing before them, Marcus. Calm, smiling, a gun in his hand. "Well," he drawled, "the king and queen finally arrive. Took you long enough." Celine's voice shook with fury. "Why? After everything I gave you, after I trusted you, why betray me?" "Because you built an empire, Celine. And you thought you could sit on your throne forever. But thrones are meant to be taken." His gaze flicked to me, contempt dripping. "And now you've let a nobody delivery driver crawl into your palace, pathetic." I stepped forward, teeth bared. "Let them go. You want me? Take me." He chuckled. "Oh, I want more than you. I want her crown, and I'll start by breaking her." The gun shifted toward Celine. I didn't think. I moved. The shot rang out. Pain seared my arm, but I didn't stop. I slammed into Marcus, the gun skittering across the floor. We grappled, fists flying, rage and desperation colliding. He was stronger, fueled by hate, but I was fueled by something deeper. Love. Celine rushed forward, grabbing the gun. Her hands shook, but her eyes were steady, locked on Marcus. "Do it," he sneered through bloody teeth. "You don't have it in you." Her finger tightened on the trigger. "You're wrong." The shot echoed like thunder. Marcus crumpled, lifeless, the reign of terror ending in silence. I staggered, bleeding, but the only thing I saw was Lily. I tore the ropes free, pulling her into my arms, her sobs wet against my chest. "Daddy," she cried, "you came." "Always," I whispered, kissing her hair. "Always, baby girl." Beside us, Celine cradled Emma, tears streaming down her face, her mask shattered into nothing but raw humanity. When we finally walked out of that warehouse, the fog breaking to reveal the first hints of dawn, I knew something had changed forever. Later, in the quiet of the penthouse, Celine came to me. My arm was bandaged, my body aching, but when she touched my face, all I felt was peace. "You risked everything," she whispered. "I'd risk it again," I said. "For them. For you." Her lips trembled into a smile. "You shouldn't have kissed me that night." I leaned closer, my voice low. "Then stop me now." She didn't. Our kiss was softer this time, a promise instead of a battle. When we pulled apart, the city stretched before us, not a fortress of glass anymore, but a home we could build together, because love had already broken through the walls, and neither of us would ever stand alone again.
Thank you so much for listening to this story on Ever After Stories. What would you do if you were in Ethan's shoes? Would you risk your life for someone else's child? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your hearts. And if you felt the fire, the danger, and the love in this story, don't forget to subscribe for more unforgettable tales. Until next time, thank you for being here.